So welcome everybody to this edition of Conversations in American Democracy. And it's good to see you all. Again, there's so much going on in the news. The notice, it sounds redundant, I say it every notice goes out on Sunday and one thing's leading the news, and then by the time we get to Wednesday, it's an entirely different environment. And yes, for those of you who don't know, last week we resolved that we would end every sentence with the word Epstein, because everything seems to be, yeah. So it seems that it's a distraction. Everything else is a distraction from Epstein, and so we want to keep Epstein in the fore. We want to keep a great deal in the fore. But there is an activity, and this is your area. Vicky Spencer Haley, Spencer Haley. Vicky's bailiwick a little bit, and talk for a moment about the use of online petitions. So what's the purpose of an online petition? Gather signatures, and the signatures influence. But there's a second purpose, and that is to inform people about what's going on. In fact, for every signature you get on an online petition, as you continue to send out, there are 4 or 5 people who read it, don't sign it, but at least they are cued into something that they should be paying attention to. And so it has been suggested that we start an online petition asking, and exactly who it would be, whether it be the president or one of our senators or Randy Fine, our U.S. representative, to provide federal assets, and those words are carefully chosen, federal assets to Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay, why Shreveport, Louisiana? Because it's, by the way, but it's the heart of the district of U.S. Representative and now Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. And it has a much higher crime rate than Washington, Baltimore, Chicago, what are the other cities that he wants, the blue cities. And to use the petition as an excuse to let people know that crime rate is higher. But of course, because it's in a red state, Shreveport has a red mayor, a red Republican governor that nobody pays attention to. So would you promote such a petition? Do you feel comfortable doing that? So the next question is, who do we address it to? The president, Rick Scott, our senator, Ashley Moody, our senator, who will be on the ballot in 18 months?
Federal assets should go federal.
What?
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of that? You want that? Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's Trump himself.
That way we
Senator
can
Trump.
circulate it nationally. I can
Yeah,
put it in
okay.
urban Maine.
Yeah,
It's just to our
You're asking for
representatives. that we're
federal
voting.
assets.
Okay, we'll do it to Trump then. By the way, there are efforts like this that are supposedly beginning all around the country, so we'll join them. But it gives us an opportunity to send out an email citing the crime statistics at Shreveport as just one of many cities that have Memphis and Dayton, Ohio, and Cleveland, St. Louis, and other places that we're.
But they don't have black mayors. Okay. Los Angeles had a black mayor.
Yes.
Okay.
And
D.C. has a black mayor. Chicago has a black mayor. Okay, all these, New York, well, no, he's a Muslim. We got to get rid of them altogether.
No, he's not yet a Muslim.
No, he's afraid of them.
Yeah,
he's afraid of them.
So
anyway,
by
Kathy was been patient.
Federal assets, you mean stepped up enforcement of FBI and DEA and things like that? You're not suggesting the National Guard?
Exactly.
Oh, no, ICE. I think ICE needs to go
Yeah,
there.
well, okay, they'll follow.
Because I think that's the controversy in my mind.
Yeah.
Not that they're using federal assets, which they maybe should, but that they're deploying the National Guard when there's really not an emergency.
And that's exactly.
Federal assets.
Can I make a
Right, but
point
I
to
think
that?
there needs to be a
your next,
distinction
Yeah, by the way,
about what we're asking.
and so that's why the word federal assets, because we
Right.
don't want to see military,
Right.
with automatic weapons patrolling our streets. I understand, despite what the president says, that hotel, I don't know about hotel, but restaurant reservations in the tourist areas of Washington has gone way down because nobody wants to, supposedly the streets are safer. Nah, not so much.
So
And
is
wait-
this petition that you're advocating something that's going to be voted on by the constituents, or are you just saying, okay, enough voices in Palm Coast area want to see this done?
Precisely.
Because, again, if you get it to any of the people that you mentioned, you might as well have the trash can right next, because that's exactly where they're going to place it. They're not going to forward it. They're going to look at it as a joke.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how many petitions or signatures you have on there. Now, if you do it so it goes as a referendum on a vote or something, potentially you have more things where now they have to do something with it,
Yeah.
not just put it in the
I think that's
raw file.
recognized. I think you would say, I think the petition is actually tongue-in-cheek. And it is meant for the people that are signing it.
Right.
To make them aware and perhaps mention it to someone else to sign it, because we're laughing at the idea that they would do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's an expectation that
Get
this
there. It's gonna go
petition
anywhere.
will have any,
Impact.
will move anything,
It-
except for get people's attention that are,
Okay, but would
thinking
you,
in that
would you be
direction.
better off, though, than to send that petition to someone that is part of our Florida representatives and Democratic, like Daniels, that would then take it to the floor and say, by the way, there's a community in Florida, it's not my district, but because they would have sent it to Randy Fine, but he's not gonna present it, so I'm gonna present it in their stead to, and now you're getting a voice out there,
But that's not our goal, I would suggest. Mike, did you want to respond, or?
Secretary of State, maybe?
Okay.
I mean,
It does, by the way,
the state.
so we're talking about the operation of it. That's not the goal.
The way
We
it's
need to remember that a large majority of the people in our community cannot find Iowa on a map. We know statistically that 61% of certainly the school parents are opposed to the use of Arabic numerals in schools. And we are high information people. We know what's going on. The idea of this petition is to let people know what's going on, and they think Washington is a hellhole, Chicago is a hellhole, when places like Shreveport and Memphis are
When you
really-
make them a joke, you take away their power.
Yeah, but if you don't read the joke, if you don't present the joke, it's all amongst us. We have gained nothing. There's a lot of energy that you would expend to try to do this with zero
You just sign it.
value,
It's just a
other than
petition
I'm
that
aware of
circulates. It's
it.
not
I mean,
a
we
online.
sit at this table right now, and we can make all the jokes we want about Trump or any of the shenanigans that are going on. But we're all aware of that. And people out in the community are probably aware of, how do you present it in such a way that it goes beyond Palm Coast? So this is tongue-in-cheek for us, great, but
We would do it to spread awareness,
Yeah.
and that's why I would suggest not to keep it local and
Yeah.
to make it be national. So I can put it in a group in Maine, or if you belong to a group in New Jersey or New York, you can put it in that group, and we're spreading awareness. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, but
Right, but that's not the goal.
In 5051, which is a national group, right?
Yeah.
And so if another 5051 picks it up, there must be 5051s in Louisiana.
every state. it's
Every
50
state,
Every
right.
state.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's a way to
Spread
get it
information.
out into the
Yeah.
blocks.
And we have been to multiple protests with 5051 here in Palm Coast and up in St. Augustine and the like. And, I'd like to see more people out there, but we're not getting that necessarily all the time, it's like in this community, right? And I think in this community, as we're doing our protests, we see more single-digit symbols to us as we're protesting here in town than we do in St. Augustine. It's really amazing. It's kind of like.
We
Because-
are
because
a
of
more
that, we're
red
mo- yeah,
county.
we're-
We're
Yeah,
a smaller
yeah,
county and we're
yeah,
more red.
right.
We have areas of blue in St.
Right.
Augustine and Volusia. We're a very different county, and we're gonna get those symbols
So,
here.
when you do those kind of, and I'm not a big social media guy, but where you put a petition online, like to raise funds kind of thing, where you say, sign this petition, would that be a better thing to do? Where now you're presenting that nationally for anybody, and like for the 5051s and all that, say, hey, sign this petition, forward the link to that petition to your friends, neighbors, and the like, and that's the way, and they go to the petition, and not just here at Palm Coast, but nationally.
Nationally. That's
Right,
what that's what
exactly.
we're talking about. Let everybody know. And the goal is not to affect change, the goal is to educate.
Right.
Right.
Okay, that's the first
Call out
step.
hypocrisy.
To call it, right, call out hypocrisy is a great way to put it.
Merrill had
I
a
think.
petition a few months
Yeah,
ago in
okay.
regards to a building in St. Augustine that he was trying
And
to
also
stop
the-
them from tearing down.
Yeah.
And he had the petition, people signed it, he spread awareness, and he was successful.
Yeah, that, and well, I don't know how successful it was with with the library. We, gathered 400 signatures to take to support the library. But of those 400 signatures, there was an estimated 1,200 people who said, oh, we didn't even realize that the library is funded by the county. And there are lots of people who don't recognize
I
that.
think
and
when
that
you
type of
don't,
thing.
because you don't use social media very much.
Yeah.
I do, so I recognize, I go when I can't find, where is there a protest or what's going on, I go and I share it with you, so that's kind of, you're bad because you don't use,
Yeah.
you choose not to do social media so
I'm an
much.
IT guy, so.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why.
We try,
so-
we try.
I got
you.
For security
Yeah,
reasons,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
we
not,
understand.
but I hear it.
But
Right.
that's what actually, I never cared about, I never thought at 64 I'd be doing this, you
Oh,
know.
I know,
Yeah.
we thought we were done.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I was never interested in that. I'm a typical, traditional, retired, like to do my crafts and stuff. And so for me now, it's, it helped seeing it online because and I have a younger people in my house. We have old adults that are living with us right now. And they introduced me to TikTok, which really opened up a lot for me of really what was going on in the world. But trying to get this out to everybody my age, oh, I don't watch the news. And I'm like, well, you
And
should.
that's the people we
But
want to
that's the
reach,
problem, if they don't watch the news and they're not on media.
They go, oh, it's
social
so
media."
negative,
Yeah.
I can't deal with it anymore. That's
But
what
also,
I'm
we
getting.
wind up talking amongst ourselves, but we're all convinced what's the stuff we need to influence. We need to find the other
But if we don't,
people.
we're gonna lose our minds.
Well, by the way, and I know that there are people who come here and who have actually used the word therapy, that once a week, they can talk to somebody and they can say the name Trump
No, no,
without
ther-
getting hit over the head.
Therapy sessions are
Our
Fridays.
Fridays, right.
That is
Right. That's the blue power,
therapy.
is it therapy? Okay.
That's
But
your
it does have
We
therapeutic
don't
value.
even pretend.
And then we go to Mike Lieberger, who is going to share with us an important, but by the way, I was going to say the Constitution minute, the Constitution is the law of the land. Wasn't that last week's question?
Yeah, what is that
okay.
like?
Okay, Mike Lieberger?
So, question for all of us here is the question on the exam
This is the
for
citizenship
citizenship
exam. Yeah.
test is, what does the judicial branch do? And there's 4 possible answers, so I'd like to hear how many answers we have.
Whatever Trump
They
tells,
determine
whatever
that,
Trump,
right?
whatever Trump tells them to
It's,
do.
it's just one of,
Do they
What
have
are
to
the-
fill in the blank, or is it multiple choice?
no, they just have to answer the question, it's oral.
Oh, it's oral.
My
They
answer,
determine the constitutionality of
The
legal challenges.
Well, on a federal level, that's what a
Yeah,
judiciary would
right,
do.
but on a-
Well,
But
this
it's not, that doesn't say
Well, right,
federal.
the state
Well, we're
have their
talking
own
about the
constitutions.
judicial branch of the
Protect the
executive.
rights of the citizens.
Ooh, okay.
no, I'm with you. I think it reviews whether legislation that has been passed is legal based on the Constitution.
It reviews the laws, explains the laws, resolves disputes or disagreements, decides if a law goes against the Constitution. Well, they haven't done that
Yeah,
lately.
well, that's why I say,
Right.
that what the judiciary branch is to do whatever Trump tells them.
Right? How many weeks did that take? I got one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? Now, there's 4 answers, but you only have to come up with one of them. So, kids, what do we have?
Can you
Regulate
repeat the
interstate
question?
trade.
What?
Regulate interstate trade.
Yeah.
Declare war,
I was gonna say,
Declare war,
yeah,
yeah.
defend
That's one
our
of them.
country, yeah.
except they don't anymore.
Yeah.
to print money, to declare war, to create an army, and to make treaties.
Oh, well, we don't keep any of them. What the hell's the point of that?
This is for new citizens, not for us, okay? But
Well,
can we
it would be-
pass it?
It would be nice if all of us could answer that, but
Yep.
I'm one of them.
So they would consider
Okay.
to regulate interstate trade incorrect.
That's not one of the answers, yeah.
Okay.
It just
Yeah, that's not the only answer.
Okay, oh, okay.
Yeah.
somehow.
Okay.
So when you're
All right,
taking the
thank-
citizens test, if you picked one of those, is it like multiple choice or?
It's-
I didn't have to take the test. so-
It's an oral, it's an oral test, and they'll ask you basically up to 10 questions. If you get the first 6 right, you've
You're good.
passed.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
So those are acceptable answers.
but these are
Right,
acceptable
acceptable
answers.
But there could be
Okay.
other answers on top of those 4.
I,
Yeah.
There better be.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, this isn't all.
Right, not exhaustive. Okay, Mike, thank you. We'll, yeah, okay, we're gonna go to Vicky in a minute, but go ahead, Kathy.
I just have another comment about the Constitution. Just because yesterday was a milestone, that's not widely
There's
recognized.
another example, yes.
It's, August 26th is known as Women's Equality Day because it's the anniversary of when the 19th Amendment was passed in 1920, giving women the right to vote.
Yep.
Now, I haven't followed up to see if President Trump issued a proclamation, but since the holiday was established in 1973, every president has issued a proclamation.
During his first term as well? Trump's
That's
first
what I was
term?
gonna
And he did.
Oh, he did, okay,
And he
good.
did.
Good.
So I don't know if he did
Do
yesterday.
they do it on the anniversary or just one time in their term?
I thought it was on the anniversary in recognition of the
So every
holiday,
year
which is
they-
not a federal holiday, but it is an established holiday. It was, and what was interesting when I was doing a little research on it, Democratic representative from New York, Bella Abzug, introduced the proclamation or the resolution, and it was President Nixon who agreed and read the first proclamation. So 50 years ago, when we were much more willing to cooperate, both parties worked together to recognize the importance of this.
Don't you wish we had a Bella Abzug to go up
Yeah,
against Trump?
yeah.
I loved her hats.
Well, I don't know
I
that
know,
Crockett
I know.
might be.
She was the hat.
So
lady.
just,
Yeah.
like as you say, raising awareness and making note of something that's often overlooked.
And along with awareness, how long have women had the right to vote in this country?
It's 20, so
105
105
years.
years.
Kat Winston?
105.
105, so it is likely that some of our grandmothers here.
Yeah, one old person's lifetime.
Yeah,
Well, what was
yeah.
also,
Yeah.
important to
But
note
okay.
is that even though it was constitutionally approved, in practice, it wasn't always given to people of color because of literacy tests
Sure,
and.
they blocked it.
Right.
Yeah, right, so it wasn't until 1965
Right.
with the Voting Rights Act that it was guaranteed.
Wasn't there money involved too? Like,
There
didn't
could
they
have been
have
a
to?
poll
did they
tax.
have to,
Poll
like-
taxes.
No, I
There
mean, like
could have been a poll
like
tax.
the African-American citizens had to pay
poll tax.
something and they
Yeah.
couldn't
They
because they were
called it
all
a poll
sharecroppers.
tax.
Yeah,
Right.
a
The poll
The
tax.
poll
that's
tax,
exactly
which
right.
was part of the whole Jim Crow law. So
Right.
even though it was in the Constitution, in practice, it wasn't always given.
Yeah, well, you won't hear anything about that at the Smithsonian anymore, though.
No,
Probably
unfortunately,
not,
no.
not for a
And-
while.
And probably
How dare he.
it'll be lifted from the
Our
textbook somewhere near you.
So it's up to
and
all of
I,
us
yeah.
to keep the
Yeah,
information
yeah.
alive.
Now, the Equal Rights Amendment, however, was introduced
The
long
same
before.
year by
Oh, was
Alice
it the same year?
Paul,
I thought it was older.
and never passed.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They didn't get the requisite number of states
Right, right, yeah.
legislations
Yeah.
approving it to.
Exactly,
Uh,
within
Ratify
the
it.
proper amount
Yeah,
of time.
yeah.
I think they eventually got 38 states, but the
But then
window
it
of
was
time had
expired,
already
it
passed,
expired, so the
something like
earlier
that.
approvals didn't count, yeah.
Right.
Vicky, what, Vicky and
I
then
just got a
Kurt.
quick one. I don't know whether
Okay.
anybody saw what happened with Oklahoma and their woke test for teachers
Yes.
from the coast.
I
We
read
talked about that.
I just
Yeah.
thought maybe everybody had heard it. If they hadn't, I mean, it's really great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where it's going.
Yeah, well, where it's going, coming here from Oklahoma is also the editorial, I think I shared it with at least some of you, that public schools are siphoning money away from private schools. Okay? And therefore, public schools need to be punished because they're siphoning the money. So
So the
That was an
private,
editorial?
my public
So the
schools,
private-
public funds to public schools. So
the private schools are the
yeah,
standard.
But,
Wow.
yes, but, okay.
That's-
At any rate, Vicki, tell us about Labor Day, tell us about what else is going on?
There's a lot going on at Flagler 5051, has been for the last few days. I went to Equal Ground, the Equal Ground tour Sunday in St. Augustine. It was the final stop. People of color talking about voting. If you don't know what Equal Ground is, Google it, find out more. There's a lot they had to say, and we have some information about it on Flagler 5051. Today, after this, there's a fancy pants sign-making event happening at the DEC office. We have an art teacher that will be there, and she's teaching us how to make some really cool signs. Everybody's invited. We are asking for a $5 donation for the supplies there. That's today. All-
What was the name of that?
Equal Ground.
Thank you.
Then, all weekend long, we're asking for people on your own time, in your own space. It can be your driveway if you don't want to go anywhere. It can be down by the beach, sidewalks everywhere. Grab some chalk, find some chalk at a dollar store, and draw some rainbows and put some messages out into the community in regards to the Pulse nightclub shooting memorial sidewalk that was rainbow. Our local government painted over it last week. And so warriors like ourselves have been going there every day and chalking the walk. So last weekend, Flagler 5051, we did a Chalk the Walk at St. John's Riverhead Walkway, and we chalked the walk there. And we want to continue that, and we want all of you and anybody hearing this to please do that. You can find chalk at the dollar store, and there's a chalkboard at Flagler Beach. There's all kinds of sidewalks, but again, you can do it in front of your mailbox. So when your mail carrier comes, and it can even be about voting. Make sure, register to vote, vote for empathy, vote for kindness, or anything about pride. So all Labor Day weekend, do it wherever you go. This coming Friday, Flagler 5051, we're organizing a caravan that's meeting at Staples at about 4 p.m. And we're going to a rally in Jacksonville in regards to raising awareness for Stop the Baker detention camp. We rallied in Stark, Florida.
Explain what the Baker detention camp is.
When ICE arrests immigrants, these immigrants, once they're arrested, are taken to a detention facility. Some people refer them to modern-day concentration camps. And we had a rally along with Jacksonville Immigrant Rights Association in Stark, Florida, about a month ago. Well, since then, Ron DeSantis and the powers that be have decided they will not use that facility as a concentration camp. So we'd like to believe that some of the noise we're making plays a small role in that. So this coming Friday in Jacksonville at the Friendship Fountain, it's called Friendship Fountain, is another rally in regards to the Baker facility. So anybody that wants to meet at Staples around 4 p.m. will caravan up. We'll be there. The fountain's really pretty on the hour, plays music and colorful, whatever. It's going to be a big rally, and media will be called to come. So that's Friday. And then we're chalking the walk all weekend, all of us. And then Monday, Labor Day, we're having a bridge brigade right here, Palm Coast Parkway, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. on the bridge. Bring signs, whatever, over billionaires. Schools over billionaires, healthcare over billionaires, free democracy over billionaires is the theme. But bring whatever if you want a sign that says release the files, whatever's in your heart, be on the bridge 5:30 to 6:30 this coming Monday, Labor Day. So all that is going on. There's more, but we'll stop there.
Okay, and I'll endeavor send out something, but okay. When you get a notice of this, I put a notice about the sign making, I think.
It's today.
Yeah. as far as petitions, as far as demonstrating are concerned, people say, you're not going to make any difference, it's not going to change anything. And the answer, of course, is it changes me. That when you stand up and raise your voice, it changes you. You don't necessarily need to do it for other people as
Well,
well. but
just in real life.
One and two, yeah.
For a couple of years now, the city of Palm Coast has been looking to sell Palm Harbor Golf Course, or not, right? And people have sent emails to the city council. People have showed up yesterday at the city council meeting, or Tuesday morning, yeah, it's yesterday. Before, well, let me back up. There were probably 25, 30 people with PGA shirts on, so everybody knew what it was all about. And before they opened the comments, the council decided to table selling the golf course until the second quarter of next year to give the new guy a chance to make it profitable. So in essence, it does work if people want something and they demonstrate
You get loud
for
enough.
it.
Squeaky wheel.
And there was only one, Gambara was the only council guy who was still wanting to just flat out sell it. But anyway, so far, it's been put on hold. So it does work.
Yeah.
Right.
At least on a local level.
And we know the opposite does not work at all.
Right, yeah, no, exactly.
Remaining silent.
Joe, did you
By
stay
that
for
you
the
mean
tennis?
remaining silent.
What did they
Yeah.
decide on the tennis facility?
Listen, the golf was the second item, and that was 2.5 hours.
I know, that's the reason why I didn't stay.
And actually, as soon as the council decided 4-1 to table it until the second quarter and give this new guy Dennis a chance, I left. I mean, so to answer your question, I didn't stay.
Yeah.
The proposal is,
City of
you know, the city doesn't have any money, right? And this whole business of $300 million and stuff like that. Well, the USTA, the United States Tennis Association, wants to come in and take over the tennis facility down there. And the town they're scared of it because they're gonna, if the USTA comes in with lots of money and stuff, they're gonna get rid of a bunch of town workers. And they're very much against it. But I just wondered how it went down. I'm very anxious. I was gonna go, but I just couldn't.
No, I didn't stay for that, but one thing, just as an aside, that I found very interesting. If you look at the tax revenue for Palm Coast versus what Palm Coast needs to spend, it's 10%. That's it.
Yeah.
They have no money, right? And so it dawned on me why they're so hell-bent on new construction, because that gives you impact fees,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
And so you can't get there through taxes, or they haven't tried, and that's part of the problem because they never raised the tax rate, basically.
Yeah, well,
So it's kind of a scary thing for the city.
And they never raise the tax rate because the citizens don't want, I mean, there's a lot of people on fixed incomes. And
Yes.
I worked for the city up until 2 months ago. And sitting there and listening to all these meetings and the like, and that's really part of it, right? And if you look at your tax bills, all these citizens complain about their taxes. But if you look at your tax bill and you look at the line items on there, Palm Coast is down here, kind of like maybe the 7th line down. And you can see that this is what you're paying to Palm Coast. Now you have another fee that you're paying for county.
Through the county, right.
And then right under
Absolutely.
that is schools. Now, most people, a lot of people in this area, right, we no longer have children that go to public schools and the like, but we're still paying into that system, right?
Right.
And again, it's all about services. And if you want more services or to buy infrastructure or the like, you got to be willing to pay extra. And because people are on fixed incomes, the politicians feel like, okay, I'm going to advocate no increases in taxes, and that's where we're going to stay. But then at the same time, people complain about not having enough infrastructure like for water and those kind of things. So you can't have it both. You can't have both things.
I
This is the-
agree, and part of
yeah.
the problem, I think it's a cultural thing, because if you go around a table and people don't play golf, what the hell do they care?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so, it's like, if I don't do it, I'm not gonna pay for it. And that's the problem. We sit around and we say, well, when people realize the prices are going up, that they're gonna do something. Well, that's the wrong reason to be doing something, right? Where's the honor? Where's the integrity? Where's the moral?
Well, it's just a question of what
It's not the price of groceries that's gonna make.
It's what should the government provide. In other words, you're gonna have this buffet-style taxation. Oh, I don't have kids, so I don't pay that.
Yes.
Oh, I don't go to the
Right,
beach.
right.
I don't go to the beach,
But
I'm not gonna pay that.
Right.
I don't have a car, so I'm not gonna pay for the roads. Is that how we're gonna
Right.
set up our
That's
tax
what
structure?
I'm trying to say is, I think that's where we are today as a culture.
And I want to hire my own fire department.
Yeah,
If I get fire at my house, I don't have to fund
Which
that fire department.
100 years ago, you made a
We used to have
contract with your
common
fire.
good.
Yeah.
We don't have a common good anymore.
Yes.
So if we don't
Yeah.
have a common good, and I don't have any kids, why the hell should I pay for you to
Yeah.
stay home, collect your money from the school district, and not teach your kids anything, and then not have to pay any tests?
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
Or to take your voucher and take the additional monies that you have to pay to these very wealthy private schools, right?
Right.
To get a little bit of a supplement from the state.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, your choice to put your child in
Does
private
the
school.
name Grover Norquist mean anything to anybody? Okay, but then know that. But if we agree we want to pay taxes, and I would argue that taxes are also not about services, but they're about our property values.
Yeah.
And that if we have a poorly performing school system, if we have no recreation available,
Right.
if our roads are a mess, our property values are going to tank.
You lose your public library, your taxes.
Exactly,
You're-
yeah,
you're-
which is a tiny drop in the bucket, that's all they're asking for.
What we're paying for it, but what it's worth as
Well,
far
exactly,
as
right.
your
Yeah,
evaluation
Exactly.
of your city.
Sue, did you want,
I just
and then Kathy?
was wondering how everybody felt about the latest executive order.
Okay, you're right, you're an executive
this
order
week.
person, go ahead.
Well,
I should have called that,
it's been
yeah.
a little frustrating
Go
because
ahead.
it's hard to get information on executive orders in real time. But I was just wondering what the group's feeling was about this latest executive order. Does anybody else feel that his use of that power is a bit weaponized?
Which
Which
executive
one are you
order?
talking about?
Which of the men?
There's so many.
Yeah,
Are you
yeah.
talking about the flag?
Yeah.
Flag burning?
Flag
Oh, the
burning,
flag
yeah.
burning.
flag
And
burning.
it's like,
Yeah.
it seems to me that one
We did this in the
is
60s
his way of
Yeah, yeah,
saying,
we
look
did
at what a
this.
great patriot I am.
Yeah.
I'm against flag burning.
That's all that is.
And now we go back to the
But
Supreme
he's
Court, what the
threatening-
courts are for, the court said it was okay, but okay,
Yeah.
Right, like I'm
Yeah.
wondering, because he said there were like two things, I can't remember what they were, but there were two things that like if it incites violence, the flag burning, and if it does something else, then they can go to jail for a year. They go to jail for a year, I promise you they'll stop burning the flag. Now, in addition to the weaponization of it and the way that he is, and that party in general has of taking these things and making an issue where there is no issue with their constituents, is he planning on taking a lot of this stuff all the way to the Supreme Court can the Supreme Court overturn the Constitution?
Oh,
We
they
talked
can-
about that
No,
last
no,
week,
no.
and everybody told me that it had to go through the process, it had to be
Well, here's the
amended.
problem, Merrill, if I may.
Yeah, please, go ahead, you don't
the,
need my permission, go, jump in there. Okay.
The Supreme Court has ruled that an individual federal district cannot overrule a presidential executive order for the entire country.
Right.
So that it would have to pass through the courts until it got to the Supreme Court. So that Trump is making himself the legislature. He's obviously passing a law here.
Yeah.
He's saying, this is the law now. So that's not the executive branch,
No.
that's the legislative branch. So he has decided that he's become the legislature and he's going to make this law. But the Supreme Court has previously said
No.
a federal judge can't stop him from doing that for the nation, only in their district.
Right.
So that will be the law from our king until it gets to the Supreme Court.
And also executive orders apply only to the executive branch. And so, right, they are not laws. And for me, the giveaway was when he was asked why the Associated Press was barred from the press room for calling it the Gulf of Mexico. He said, they're breaking the law. And says, no, he doesn't get to make laws. That's the legislative branch. Executive orders are only for the executive branch. But everyone, of course, folds and does what he says. Congress is full of spineless Republicans, maybe spineless
It's
Democrats
happening,
as
right?
well.
Well, when you say-
And they won't stand there. He says, oh, whatever you say, just like, and I'm sure many of you saw the opening of the cabinet meeting where everybody went around the table and talked about how wonderful it is.
Ass-licking.
I know, yes, all the ass licking and so on. That, he thinks he's king.
But when you say it's only for the executive branch, that's the Department of Justice.
Yeah,
So I go out and I
right.
burn the flag. Executive order says the Department of Justice arrests me and prosecutes me, right?
Yeah, but they have to have a charge to arrest you. What law did you break? You didn't. The Supreme Court found you didn't break a law. And in
Okay.
fact, the person arrested for
Yeah, but
setting a
starting-
flag on
starting
fire
fire, starting
across
fire.
the street or on the property, near the property of the White House, was not prosecuted for but he was being prosecuted for igniting a fire.
Right,
That-
exactly.
yeah, starting a fire,
But
not
as
for
we were-
burning the
And as we
flag.
were talking, though, about the petition, it's more about the ways than the means. That's what he is so brilliant at. Like, it's getting news, it's getting out there, and it's firing up his constituents, and they're all saying, yeah, hate flag burners, I don't like flag burners
Did you get-
either,
did you get the
but
profile?
that's
Did
irrelevant.
you get the profile of the guy who burned the flag, though? He's a combat veteran.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we just
And he's
shift
never
to the
protested before in his life.
concentration camp
If I
for a
put the
minute?
flag out right now,
Yeah,
I put it out
we'll
upside
circle back to
down.
them, hang on, sticking there.
Absolutely stunning.
Okay, go ahead, let's talk about.
My concern not only is with the holding cells, but the fact that there's no due process, and part of the reason why is that they keep cutting funding for immigration lawyers and
Exactly,
judges.
exactly.
So that's another piece that we have to raise awareness about, because these people are given dates pushed out to like 2028 to even have a hearing. So how is this supposed to effectively work if we don't fund that piece of it? And how much money are we wasting on these incarceration facilities when we could be redirecting those funds to actually following
But
the
when they
immigration?
making too
give
much
them the
sense now.
2028 date and they walk out, the ICE people take them.
I know,
Yeah.
I
Well, they're
know.
out of the country
That's
before
the
Yeah,
2028.
yeah.
The purpose, the purpose
Garcia, right?
is to rid
Intimidate.
the country of brown
Everybody.
and black.
And that's what we
Yeah.
need to be calling out, the fact that there's no funding for the due process piece of it. I understand that if somebody is arrested, they need to be held somewhere. But we're bringing them in such large numbers, and we can't effectively hear their cases.
Process them.
Here-
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just,
As the brown guy at the table, okay, I was born and raised in El Paso, Texas in 1958.
oh, the latest.
That doesn't make you brown.
Yeah, well, no, it doesn't. But what does make me, and this is where I have a real issue, is we've gone to all these protests, right? And when I go to these protests, in my backpack, I carry my passport and my birth certificate. And-
Right.
Okay, so tell me,
I do
how
that.
many of you ever have to consider that?
Oh, I know.
Because,
Yeah.
right?
You have your
Right.
papers?
Actually,
Are your papers in order?
Yeah, exactly. You start thinking Nazi
I wondered
Germany.
when you walk in the room, I was like,
Nazi
God, I hope the hell he has all his papers
No,
and
it's Nazi
he's out in the
Germany. Yeah,
community.
it's
You start thinking Nazi Germany,
Oh,
where
yeah.
somebody can approach you, and again,
How could you not?
and the thing is that we're now into the profiling. That's really what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
It's
mean,
gotta
we could
be
be at
scary.
this meeting, if they walked in, ICE walked in right now,
Go right to
I'm
you.
sure they come right to me.
That's the
So,
purpose.
so what I have
Yeah.
on my
We keep beating
phone,
around the bush,
Yeah.
but that's the
Yeah.
purpose.
what I have on my phone is a
understand.
picture of my passport and my
Sure.
birth certificate and
Yeah.
the like, and my wife
It
carries the
shouldn't
same.
have to be
But
that
again,
way.
it's not like they're gonna acknowledge it. How many of the people that they've taken
Right.
have stuff on them, and it's like, okay, well, we gotta take you in because, we think
We think
you're suspected
you're a
of something,
criminal.
Right, right.
You're a
right?
rapist,
Well,
you're
no,
drug
they have
dealer.
a quota.
And
They have a
Yeah,
quota.
right,
They
they have
have
to
to get
this
their
is
quota.
Have to get what?
the census.
the quota.
3 million,
This is
30
what the
million they're
census
deported?
is to get the immigrants out round up the homeless and get
Right.
them out, and then go in and count so that the blue states lose their representatives.
Right.
And then we can contest that, there's a problem with the election, it didn't really count because,
Right.
it wasn't legal, that, that's why he wants to do the
And it-
census. And he's also started procedures to make some of the voting machines
Right.
illegal, okay? And then
Mail-in
there's the
ballots.
business with women,
Mail-in
if you have
ballots.
changed your name since you were freaking born when you didn't really have a choice back in the day. You have to go in with your marriage certificate, your divorce certificate, your remarriage certificate, your oh my God certificate, everything, this election, I'm beginning to think it isn't gonna happen. I really,
That's,
and if
the
it
plan.
does,
Yeah,
it's
that's
going to
the-
be pointless.
or it happens and he'll say, oh, there's so much fraud, we need to
Right.
I
declare
do have
martial
one
law
thing
and send.
That I'd like to say before
Yeah,
this
yeah, go
runs
ahead,
out.
go ahead, then there
Okay.
were other people.
The
We got
guy
Kurt
from
was on.
Abundance, that wrote the Abundance book that's on the bestseller list, he was on a podcast and he was saying, and I thought this was fascinating because I was like, what? People, not us, other people, see Trump as his own man, that he will fire anyone, that he isn't part of the Republican Party, that he doesn't owe anybody anything, okay? He isn't there for his friends, he's obviously there for his family, or his coalition, or the party. He is truly independent. He doesn't even care about the oligarchs. Look at how he treated Elon Musk, that he's his own man. And I was stunned, because that says that it doesn't matter what the parties put up, okay? I think that's a really frightening thing to think about. I was excited that we turned over a seat in Iowa and
Yeah.
that they are no longer have a supermajority. And Pritzker kept me from crawling under the bed with
Yeah,
my cat
yeah.
and ice cream.
Fighting back.
Your flashlight is on your phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
my flashlight's on?
So-
Oh, that's not helping.
Did you ever think, in the United States of America, the government would take 10% of Intel?
Yeah.
I mean, where
While
is the
while
outrage?
declaring that socialism is a
Mondani?
Where is the
The
outrage?
Mondani,
capitalism.
that's
That's fascism.
Mondani, Mondani is a socialist.
No,
Yeah.
I take 10% of Intel,
And he's a
voting,
socialist.
complete voting rights from US Steel.
that's right. It's unbelievable.
I forget which, there's
Right.
another one, there's three of them, that the government is now in business. That's Trump's genius. When Mondani suggests that we should have some grocery stores in some areas, he's a
That's
socialist.
Right, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
And that's an educational process, I believe. We need to explain what socialism is and so on. I'm sorry, Dave. Kurt, did you have
That
something
is
you wanted to say?
Well,
Yeah.
that's part of economics, and I'll give a class to everybody who wants a class in economics. It's a command economy. And a command economy is a communist, socialist economy.
And he just got stuff from Putin.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in Russia. So
Yeah.
we're having the same economy as
Okay,
Russia.
that's right.
We might as well just
Exactly.
change the flag.
As soon as we can get a hold of the Fed, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logic has no place in this discussion. Just wanted, we
When he
think
takes the
intellectually
Fed-
with reason,
Pull your money out of the bank,
put it under your
because
mattress.
in 2025, it's listed that they want to get rid of the FDIC, which ensures your money.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Really?
They
right.
take over the
Yeah.
Fed,
Yeah.
get your money out of the
Oh,
bank.
yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
that.
I have something that a friend sent me here, and it's a quote that Donald Trump did to People magazine in 1998. I don't know if you guys know, Trump used to lean Democratic, or was a
Oh, yeah.
Democrat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And his comment to People magazine was this: if I were to run, I'd run as a Republican. They're the dumbest group of voters in the country. They believe anything on Fox News. I could lie and they'd still eat it up. I bet my numbers would be terrific.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love you.
No
said
question.
that
Right?
quote.
Yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
no
amazing?
question about
That's People magazine in 1998.
Oh, I got
What year?
it down.
1998.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what scares, oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, no, go ahead.
I guess I'm curious though how you all feel, because Trump, I feel like, is not that smart. He's got all these other people telling him, and he's a doer, he does what. But what scares me is it's not going to be over if anything does happen to Trump. We've got Vance and all the others. So what happens?
I know a lot
That's
of
what I
people
kind of
say-
wonder. What happens
A lot of
after?
people say he's not that smart, but he is an egomaniac.
Yeah,
No question.
true.
Well,
And so he's always strategizing, right? Like a narcissist. Aren't they always strategizing, like
Oh,
how
he
to
isn't.
control
Trump is.
everything? And if he's been doing this his whole life,
His whole
because
life.
I've read stories about him in high school.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
he was making his friends retell the story according to the way it went down in his mind,
right.
which was completely
It's fairly
false.
simple. Everything to him, he's
He's
an
around
ultimate narcissist,
the
right?
center of
So
the world.
everything is transactional.
Right.
What
Right.
do I get out of
That's
it?
right. That's right.
That's the bottom
And like I
line on
said, he's
everything.
been
On
honing
every
this
single,
skill.
on anything that he looks at, how does this affect me?
Not only
What
has
do
he
I
been
get out of
honing this
this?
skill since he's young,
Yeah.
his father has instilled that skill
Right.
in him from a very young
Right.
age.
Along with Roy
Uh,
Cohen, but.
So maybe he's not smart, but he's a
The
strategist.
the right instincts. I
And the
would
right
say.
But to answer your
Uh,
question, in my mind,
Hmm.
this country is going to be run by 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 people. I mean, I don't know the exact number,
Of one
but
percenters.
the institutions are gone. Religion, if that's an institution, is gone. Congress is gone. A group of people have
Department of Justice.
taken over this country. And what the number is, it's 5,000, 10,000, I don't know.
And you're right, once he gets
Okay.
to the Fed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
look at
Which
the
he's trying.
Heritage Society, how many
Yeah.
people belong to that? They are
Federalist-
going to be the
Federalism,
rulers
yeah.
of this country.
right, with,
That's-
if Donald Trump dropped dead tomorrow and J.D. Vance stepped up into that role, American Heritage Foundation is the one who chose J.D. Vance
Vance,
because
yes.
he would implement
Yes,
that.
yes,
It's just going to
Look at the
continue.
same power that Trump has,
We-
though.
we-
First of all, he has
Charisma.
immigrant wife. He has an immigrant wife, and they don't like the look of his children because they look way more Indian than they look American. Okay,
Okay.
there's a whole section of the party that is not going to give him the
Right.
backup. He would,
Agreed.
it'd be like Ford never had the power, okay, that Nixon had, okay? The problem is, if anything happened to him, Johnson is the bigger threat.
Yeah.
Something
Is the
could
biggest
happen
threat.
Could well
to
be.
Vance.
Uh,
Something could happen.
Yeah,
Something
Mike,
could happen
Mike,
to both of them.
One thing everybody has to keep in mind is Stephen Miller.
He's,
Yes,
oh my
he's
God.
terrible.
That's Goebbels.
Yeah.
But he won't back
That's
Vance.
Goebbels.
And
He won't back Vance.
he wants
Oh.
the United States numbers, he wants our population to be 100 million people. So that, and he's one of the architects of Project 2025, and also he's in Trump's ear constantly. And his idea is to get rid of not only the brown and the black people, but the sick people. That's
The elderly,
the elderly,
the women who
cutting
can't
back on the
produce.
benefits.
like me.
And he'd like to forget he's Jewish, but that's another, because that's yet another.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Yeah, like our friend Fine.
yeah.
Oh, Kathy.
I
you're
have
gonna-
just a unrelated comment, but a bright spot if you'd like to know.
We need, yes.
Some of you may be familiar with Art and Louise Dyke. Art for 30 or
The
years was the
historian.
Palm Coast historian. Their daughter, Jackie, whose last name is Norris, is running for the Senate on the Democratic ticket for the primary in Iowa.
Oh.
So if you want to follow someone who
Thank you.
warms your heart and gives you hope, look at Jackie Norris's profile. She's
Absolutely.
running in Iowa.
We just had a big win in Iowa.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Isn't
exactly.
that
So,
amazing?
yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled.
Huge.
And maybe
She-
that's,
She was the
a
chief
bellwether.
of staff for Michelle Obama during that administration, and she also did some work for Barack Obama. She's a really, really bright woman, but she's so grounded and willing to work even with Trump if necessary to get things done for the people. It's like, oh, she's a better person than I
yeah,
am.
yeah.
And what's,
But
where
I
was she
wanted to
raised?
give her a plug.
So let's.
Jackie Norris.
Norris. So the name Gambaro was mentioned, and he, of course, has declared he is running for, in fact, put it in his papers, running against, in a primary, against Randy Fine, and there are several others. There are several Democrats in that race as well. I can't get their email addresses, but I sent them letters and invited them to come and join us. As we were told that Tom Townsend was a candidate, Tom Townsend, who was here, was that just last week? Well, yeah, was a former superintendent of schools of Putnam County who was here, and but he says, no, he wants to revitalize the party. He won't say if it's within the structure of the party or he wants to start something paralleled, but he wants to restructure the party, but he was told, he was described as a candidate for that congressional seat, but he declares he has not. But there are some other Democrats, and I believe Stockton is running again as well. He's the guy who ran last time, a pastor from actually a little bit west of Ocala, a long way off, but we're in a gerrymandered district, as everybody is in a gerrymandered district, so it doesn't make any difference. There are hope that we can make some kind of inroads. One of the reasons that DeSantis is so up in Fine's face is because Fine, quote unquote, underperformed. That is, in the we're in the 6th congressional district of Florida. Trump won by 30%, but Fine only won by 15%. And if 2 points determine a line, and if we follow that line, perhaps we have an opportunity to make even more inroads and elect a Democrat.
To that point, I think I mentioned last Friday that Furry, is running for that
Yes,
as well.
yeah, right.
And I saw an ad that he had on Facebook bemoaning the fact that Fine didn't do as well.
Yeah.
And we need, to his supporters, they need to keep the Democrats in place, basically, and not let them perform. So they do know about the performance that happened.
Whatever that means,
Yeah.
right, whatever that entails.
Yeah. Will Furry, by the way, is one of the 2 school board candidates who accepted an endorsement from the pulpit of, and in fact was brought up to the pulpit of 2 different churches in town for their endorsement. Back in the days when the Johnson Amendment was operative. Now it doesn't exist anyway, and clergy people can stand on the pulpit and endorse candidates, and that's another
And what was
Project 2025 goal.
What was his quote about the separation of church and state? That it's
Yeah.
his understanding
Right.
that the intent of separation of church and state is to protect the churches from the state,
Yeah,
not the
right,
state
from that church.
from the
Yes,
churches,
yeah, yeah.
which follow that logic. And see where
Yeah,
that,
right.
And see where that leads you,
That's
okay? It circles right back.
These people are great
Got it.
revisionist history that have nothing to
Yeah.
do with history and so
Yeah.
on. I've mentioned the name David Barton around this table. So he's a revisionist historian who swears that every president from George Washington on added the words, "So help me God," which did not appear in the Constitution as part of the oath, but that he added it. And historians all agree that nobody up to and including Abraham Lincoln ever said, but they rewrite history, and that the 10 Commandments are part of the foundation of the United States.
Okay.
Not true at all. So we have to look at these candidates carefully, and I believe create an educated, I want to return to that word, an educated electorate. I think people are just not tuned in. They know that they're Republicans, so they vote this way. And the fertile ground for us is NPAs, no party affiliates, and to reach them. Although supposedly in this county, the majority of the NPAs are what's called Republican adjacent. That is, they were Republicans, they lean to Republicans, they're hard to win. But there are some there, and of course, as you know, do we have twice as many Republicans registered in Flagler County as Democrats? So we've got a lot of work. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do.
What about Randy Fine proposing that Ocala National Forest become a national park?
Yeah.
Do you think he's doing that to make himself more likable?
Yeah,
Because he's proclaiming that he's so concerned about our springs and how they're being polluted by overdevelopment and all these things that kind of run counter to every Republican's
Exactly.
message.
Sure.
I'm like, why is he doing this?
Yeah, it's-
It's like a bipartisan kind of issue that making him look good
Maybe,
for the
yeah.
moment. But at the same time, Trump cut the national parks budget by 25%.
Yeah.
So how do you add another park and then take away money?
I was gonna say, I think maybe you make it a national park for that very reason, that now the Trump can come in and say, oh, by the way, let's go ahead and let you deforest that forest and take
Drain
whatever
that-
mineral
drain that off.
rights
If
out
it's
of it.
already
Yeah,
a national
yeah.
forest, what's the benefit of making it a national park?
Well,
I don't understand really the benefit.
no, that's true.
And if they're cutting that budget, how will it improve the ecosystem?
Yeah,
I don't know.
At any rate, remember, Jen, next week we'll be meeting at the golf course. Janet Sullivan, the chair of the head of the Democratic Executive Committee, will be here and talk about their plans and what they're doing and their direction and so on. And everyone's always welcome, and look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, different station, actually, the station's over there. Okay, thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Okay? So now we're done with that portion. But, yeah, you know.